before we start about technology-enabled learning, let me spend a few minutes about just the learning or a little bit of background. So I will start with a very simple question, and I want answer from maybe one or two answers from each of the base. Why have you joined BTech? Why do you want to do BTech? Anyone? Learn something here? No? Have fun? Get a degree? Get a job? Anybody has a different answer than these 2-3 things that I said? No? Okay. I expect a little more participation from all of you. Okay? Yeah. Why BTech? Okay. Whether you want to do computer science or electronics is a separate question, but why BTech? Okay. I think the answer for most of you, I'm not saying all of you, most of you would lie here. We'll get some knowledge, we'll get a degree, we'll get a job. Is that right? Some of you would do, MTech or MBA or PhD after that or something, or maybe join your dad's business or whatever. But most of the people, would lie into this. Okay. Now, if this is what is the answer for most of you, then let's look at it. That if you are joining the college today, you will get a degree in 2016, okay, and get a job, right? Now let's look at some 30-40 years beyond that. Okay, you are little old, something like looking like these people, okay, and nobody on earth today has an idea that what knowledge will you require to excel in your job or profession at that time. Okay. Now you will learn some physics and some engineering and some electronics and some computer science today. But how much of that will you use when you actually start doing a job? How much of that will you use 10 years when you become some senior manager? After that, another 10 years you become some vice president or president of the company or the CEO or whatever. Okay? So the journey doesn't end. It's an ongoing thing that you need to do. Okay? I have seen in companies, earlier in TCS, now in an IIT, people who have not been able to keep up with the new technologies or new learning could not grow. Some of them were even kicked out. So this is the corporate world. If you are planning to join a corporate like that, okay, it will be a little ruthless. Okay, how many of you want to join a very safe job, a Sarkari Babu type of a company that okay, every 3 years I will get a promotion? Anybody? Maybe some people will go to IAS. I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but most of you would want to go to some MNCs or some big brand companies, right? Now that is, if you are planning to do that, you have to be prepared to continue to learn. Okay, so the learning is not just these 3-4 years. Okay, a quote from this person, Don Tapscott. He runs a business strategy company in Canada. He is one of the very good authors and speakers in the business community. It's not what you know that counts anymore. Okay, it's what you can learn. So if I look at myself after I did my BTech and MTech, if I look at not today, but first year after I joined the job in TCS, if I try to see how much of my all learnings that I used in my actual job, maybe less than 5%. Remaining things I had to learn there, because some new technologies which were never taught in college, okay, some new methods or some new processes, you have to continue to learn. So that is what is going to be important. Okay, so remember, learning is not just college 4 years, womb to tomb. When you are born till you die. You can stop learning, then that means you will stop growing. Okay, and I don't think any of you want to do that, right? How many of you agree with me? Good. So be prepared. Okay. Now let's look at the technology. So you understand that you have to continue to learn. Okay, not these 4 years, but forever. Okay. Now what will technology do? How will technology help you in that learning is something that we have to discuss. Now technology, as Shraddha mentioned, all of you are born in the digital era. Okay, I remember I had used internet for the first time sometime around 94, 95. Okay, and I think that was the time almost all of you were born. All of you are like 18, 19 today. Okay, you must have been born in 93, 94, 95. That was the time I had used internet for the first time. Okay, all of you are born and have grown like this. Do you agree? You born, you saw computers, You saw internet, you saw mobile phones, you saw Facebook, right? So you are used to having access to so much of knowledge using Wikipedia and all that, which we never got. Okay? You are used to networked learning. So Facebook is the most connected network, and all of you are there on Facebook. You are used to that. So technology is not really the difficult part for you. You guys are very, very natural adapters to technology. In fact, it is difficult for some of the faculty members to adapt technology because they have not grown like this, how you have grown. Okay? So if we say, okay, what do we do differently in technology, and Professor Vishwas mentioned that things are changing and you have to use IT. So first look at the traditional learning processes. Okay? In any school or college, when you have to do learning, typically I would divide things into 5 categories. Okay? First one is the guru. So you go in the classroom, there is a professor, teacher, adhyapak, acharya, whoever, okay, who comes and gives you a lecture, right? The first and most important part, the way we had been learning. Then content, go to library, you have books and all that. Okay? Collaboration, a very important part of learning. Okay? In the classroom, if a teacher is teaching and you asked a question, the other person did not ask, but you asked, I answered, and the other people also learn from that. That is collaboration, collaboration between student and teacher. Okay? Collaboration between students. So you have a group discussion and all of you learn from that. Okay? Third, hands-on. A very important part of any technology or the technical or hands-on learning. You go to labs, whether it's physics or chemistry or machine room or whatever, okay, and you do hands-on. I mean, I'm going back to ages when Guru Dronacharya is teaching Arjun how to use the bow and arrow. That is actually lab. So in addition to teaching them the theoretical concepts of it, they have to teach students on how to actually use that equipment, right? And then finally exams. Integral part of our learning process, right? Can't escape that, because without that, nobody will give you a degree or a recognition or whatever. Okay? So there can be more processes. I'm not saying these are the only things, but broadly this is something that will cover, all the aspects of learning processes that we are familiar with traditionally. Now let's look at it. If we say this has to be technology enabled, then what do you have? You have virtual classrooms. You can do distance learning using video conferencing. Even if you are in the physical classroom like this, okay, instead of using a blackboard or whatever, I am using a PowerPoint. You guys, all the new classrooms that you have in an IT university are equipped with electronic boards. So that means the professor will come and write with an electronic pen, and whatever he will write can be saved in a PDF which you can have access to. Not everybody will do exactly like that, but that is possible. Okay? So a lot of technology changing that. Okay? Now mind it, technology processes do not mean that we will not use traditional processes. This is not going to replace that, but the idea is to have the best blend of the two together, so that you have the right blend of the traditional processes as well as technology enabled processes. Content, all of you are used to that. I mean, if I compare the crowd in the library to my college time and today, I see hardly any students in the library, because all of you have laptops, you have downloaded books, you have access to Wikipedia, you have access to a lot of e-books and all that. Whether they are legal or illegal is a different thing. Okay? But you have access to that content. Okay? Okay? So whatever discussions we were doing earlier in the classroom, now online provides you so many facilities. Discussion forums, blogs, wikis, Facebook, Twitter. You can collaborate and then learn from there. Okay? Hands-on labs, again, this is an area which is not matured yet completely, but there are a lot of tools which allow you to have simulated labs. So instead of actually driving a car or learning to fly a plane, you can use a simulator and then use that, right? That is learning and equipment. But you can also have a simulated, say, Microsoft Exchange server. If you have to learn how to configure a Cisco router, you need not have the actual router. You can have a simulated environment where you can try to learn that. Okay? Business simulation. So actually coming across a scenario which you will encounter in the real life in the business, and then saying that how do you actually behave in that kind of a scenario, right? And exams will always be there, but some of them can be converted into online, right? So these are the possibilities. Now a lot of people would talk about the mobile learning also. Okay? So mobile learning, I would say, is also part of the technology. These days mobiles are as powerful in terms of memory and CPU power as we had laptops 2-3 years back, okay? But the only thing is the real space is very small, the screen is very small, so you can do a little limited things there, sorry, okay? So you can have small videos, audio clips and all that. You can't really use it like a full-fledged computer, though your laptop is also like a mobile right now. If you have Wi-Fi here or you put the internet dongle, okay, then you are mobile. You can do everything that you want to, right? So that is possible. And you must have seen that ad, What an Idea, Sirji, from Abhishek Bachchan, right? So using mobile, people are trying to conduct classes so that students can hear. So instead of having video conference, you can have audio conference using mobile. So all these things are possible, right? Now what do we have here at NIT University for you is this. Wi-Fi campus. All of you have your laptops configured on Wi-Fi now? Good. Okay. We have a learning portal called Nucleus. Any of you have tried to access it yet or not yet? Some of you have logged in. Okay. So all of you will have a login there. Okay. Your professors will upload PPTs or whatever content they are using in the classroom in there so that you can have access to that. Okay. So the idea is that it will allow you to concentrate on the lecture rather than just trying to copy the notes. So if instead of writing on the board and if you have to just, a lot of times I have seen that students are just trying to make sure that before professor rubs the thing on the blackboard, I should at least copy it in my book, right? Now, if you know that the content is going to be made available to you separately, you will focus on understanding the concept rather than copying the concept, okay? So it will help in that sense. And I had been talking to senior students here. They say that those PowerPoints or content which is available on Moodle has really helped them. They always refer to it, maybe before the exams and all that. It becomes very good class notes for you. But does not mean that you will not take notes in the class. Okay, it will not be replacing what you have to take notes in the class. Okay. So that Nucleus portal will have digital courseware. Some of the teachers will take quizzes online. Okay, so instead of taking on paper, we can take online. Some of the teachers will give you assignments online, so that instead of giving them a written paper, you will just submit it online and they will do evaluation and you will come to know about the grades and all that. Okay. We also have synchronous learning technology. Some of you would know that we have this ICICI MBA program, right? Now their students are 6 months on the campus and 6 months they are doing internship at the bank. Okay. Now when they are doing internship, they still do lectures, and for that we have a very high-tech video conferencing facility by which they actually do the regular classes with their faculty members. So that facility is available. Okay. I already told you about interactive classrooms. So all the new classrooms that are coming up have electronic boards in them, so that instead of using a marker pen, teachers can use electronic pens, and whatever they write on the board will get saved automatically. Okay. So these kind of facilities are available, and but we are adapting, and then you will continue to see things changing. Now I wanted to know, out of these, I'm sure, how many of you have heard about Khan Academy? Okay, almost maybe 2/3 or some. Okay. Any of you have heard anything else other than Khan Academy? edX or Coursera or anything? Some of you, right? Now these are the initiatives that have been taken by some of the large universities where they are providing free courses to anybody in the world. Okay. So for example, let's take this Introduction to Artificial Intelligence, a course taken by Professor Sebastian Thrun of Stanford. Okay. I have seen some of the videos of his. He was a very successful professor at Stanford. He got inspired by Mr. Salman Khan of Khan Academy, not our Bollywood wala Salman Khan. Okay. He got inspired by Salman Khan of Khan Academy, said, why can't I teach thousands of students? Okay. And I have seen him talking that he said the satisfaction that I got by teaching 100,000 students is something that now I never want to go back to a classroom. Okay. Now there are limitations in this. This is not going to replace the traditional classroom learning and degree, but it allows a lot of students who otherwise don't have access to good university and good education, that they can actually go and learn from there. Okay. Some of the students from NIT University also had attended these courses, and they give you an e-certificate. You can take a printout of that yourself if you want to. Okay. Now, whether your future employer will give credit to it or not, I cannot guarantee that. But it will definitely help you learn something new, which may or may not be available at the university itself. Okay. So, there are a lot of such courses coming up. Okay. edX, as you can see, is a collaboration between MIT, Harvard and Berkeley, and if you go to their website, they are providing lots of courses online free. They will have a business model that will come out. They will say, okay, you are learning free, but if you want a certificate or a degree, pay us something, and then we will take an exam and then you will get a degree. Okay. Those things will come out, but for your learning, it's free. Okay. So any of you who are interested in this, you can continue to use these kind of things. Okay. And as I said, it's an ongoing journey that you have to continue. Okay. So that is a brief that I wanted to give you, and we'll have the question answer session after this. Yeah. Thank you.